Welcome back to Fine TV across the Gambia. Anywhere you are viewing us, we are back. EDUSA our live on Farato Studio. I am your moderator, Selmar Fati, the 15th Executive Outgoing IPRO Minister. And today we have the 16th Executive Council elected members in the studio. So we are going to discuss the way forward. As we all are aware, the dust now settled down at the education school. Now is the tone for the 16th Executive Council to keep the ball rolling, as the 15th Executive Council time is about to finish in next 1 week time. So we have the Secretary General elect and the IPRO-elect in the studio. So we will have some discussion about all what happened from the election to the campaign, the policy debates, and right now after the results are announced, and then how they are going to run in their executive council. So we will have that discussions with you. So EDUSANs, you can follow the Fine TV, subscribe, and also like, so that you don't miss any other information that they are going to give it to you. So I will start with the SG. SG, welcome back. I have you here before in the policy debates. Yeah. That time, no one knows who was going to be elected as the SG, but Alhamdulillah, everything went according to your plan, and then you now is the elected SG. So can you introduce yourself to the EDUSANs?
Thank you so very much, Honorable IPRO outgoing, Honorable Selmar Fati, and of course, thank you and greetings to Fine TV, of course, our able host, Kekuta, who has been always there, trying to make sure to cover all our hips and happenings that were going on in education, UTG. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Almighty, the most omnipotent, omniscient, and the omnipresent, for giving me the vigor, the stamina, yet again to be here, but not as a candidate now, but as a Secretary General elect of the 16th Executive Council. It's always a pleasure, and then I am always grateful to God. I am Tumani Kamara, a fourth year major in English language, and I'm also the Secretary General elect of the 16th Executive Council in the recently concluded EDUSA elections 2026. So I've just got it here, sir, Prof, and then until other questions.
Thank you. It's no more a candidate, but now the SG elect. And then all SGs have their nickname, but later in the show, he's going to give us his own nickname. Now to the IPRO-elect, the face of 16th Executive Council and the mouthpiece of the 16th Executive Council. I host you here during the policy debate, and also I witnessed your convention speech, and then EDUSANs have the confidence to vote for you now. Honorable, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Prof. Fati, and then thank you, Fine TV, for always being there for EDUSANs and to make sure all programs are covered without any cost. You endeavor to make sure all our activities are covered. We want to use that opportunity to congratulate you for that. It's a pleasure to be here, looking at the political trajectory of EDUSA from the campaign period till we voted, and today we're here as IPRO-elect. It was not an easy task. When we were seated here, we seated here as candidates that are vying for positions, but Alhamdulillah, EDUSANs have decided to give us another chance to be able to run the office. And we have to thank them for that bold step, because it's one of the biggest trust that one can give. If electorates vote you in, you need to celebrate, but you have to be mindful because they need something from you. So the expectations are high, and then I believe that as we are going into the details, we'll also put our heads together to make sure we give what they deserved. So as for now, I thank you all for giving us the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much. That's IPRO-elect Honorable Jibril Toure. And also we all know that all the IPROs have nicknames from 14 Executive Council to 15 and now to 16. The 14th Executive Council, Honorable Ismaila Jassi, my own boss, is the double engine of the 14th Executive Council, very active. That's why they name him the double engine. Then I personally also come Selmar Fadi. I am known as the Triple and IPRO International. So I also have to give my boy the title known as the Continental IPRO. He is the Continental IPRO.
Thank you.
Of the
Thank you for the title.
So he's no more the international. You have to go beyond the countries. Now he's the entire Continental IPRO.
Thank
so
you
the
so
title
much.
is for you, and then the 16th Executive Council is lucky to have the Continental IPRO. Honorable SG, we have witnessed a very tense campaign period. Can you tell us your experience during the campaign period of EDUSA until you are elected as the Secretary General of the 16th Executive Council?
Yeah, as we all know, it's not an easy task as far as anybody who knows how elections are conducted within university community, either being education or any other sub association. It's always very tense, and always difficult moments would come, and then you will have hindrances. Since the inception, beginning all the way from the last Congress that the 15th Executive Council held, that's where everything begins. The momentum, the movement, the spirit, until on the 31st, and then when EDUSANS decided that this is exactly what we want, and then the reason why they want that is because they have a lot of high hopes, and then trust that these individuals are the people that have the ability to steer the affairs of the education students, and then there it is. So for me personally, it was not an easy task, to be honest with, because sometimes you face a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, challenges that would come within, but it is part of politics, because it's not like one comes out of. So you have to expect difficulties to come. Among them could be character, bullying, assassinations, but all those are political means and propagandas to make sure that my candidate at the end of the tunnel emerges victorious. This is part of politics. But then we stand tall against all those odds, and then Edison believes that whatever is happening, we are closely watching and monitoring every step, every aspect of it, and then they decided that I'm the rightful individual, and I'm very much honored for them believing in me, and then I'm thankful to EDUSANS and then the trust that they held in me, and then my colleagues as well, and then we would give our best to our knowledge and then to our ability to make sure that this trust is something that is there. So as campaign periods is always not easy, but we face it and then we just go out of it, and then alhamdulillah today we are here again as how to call individuals that are elected in different portfolios.
Thank you. You have a big responsibility on your shoulder as the Secretary General and the head of the administration. You also, I remember you are the king. I can remember, if my memory can serve me well, you are the first king of EDUSA. So now you become the Secretary General, then you have a big responsibility. So you have that memory, that institutional memory with you. So I know the EDUSA make no mistake by electing you as their SG. Honorable IPRO, the Continental IPRO. So the campaign periods, you have gone through a lot of difficulties. I personally, I was aware, and then what went right and what went wrong, during the campaign until you are elected?
Yeah, I think this question is key, because we all know anywhere two people are looking for something, then there must be challenges. Challenges in the sense that we all know university election is never easy, where every candidate will try to put certain mechanism in place to make sure you win. But alhamdulillah, it's all part of politics, because once you have an opponent, it is a great challenge, and you have to play your card well to make sure you win. And I believed we played our card very well, and that gave EDUSANS the hope and the aspirations to put on our shoulders to be able to take the office to the next level. It's a challenge, but thank God, Allah guide us through the process, and then alhamdulillah, today we are seated here. So those challenges are seeing those challenges are part of life, but overcoming those challenges make life interesting. So therefore, we are ready for challenges, and then we will be surely, tackle it with the power of Almighty.
Thank you. During the campaign, as the custodians of all the official pages, I saw pictures circulating, and you were there coming someone, Can you tell us how those things unfold,
It's quite interesting, because for me, I am not seeing my camp as the only camp. I'm seeing the broader picture. That's the School of Education. So campaign always come with challenges by, coming across with your opponents and then exchanging words and other stuff. So that very fine day, I think the president went out to make some clarifications. So, upon arrival,
Yeah, when you say president, right now we have two.
yeah, the outgoing president, I mean the outgoing president, the outgoing president.
That's my president.
Yeah, the 15 executive council. So I believe, that clarification does not go well with the Renaissance candidates. So exchange of words, but by then I was a little bit far from the activities. Then I realized that they want to exchange, a physical assault. Then I believe that is not necessary, because when that occurred, it will be a bombshell for School of Education, because the school is seen as one of the matured schools. So allowing such things to occur might not go well. So that being the case, then I have to intervene to make sure there is sanity, because we are not representing our camp as Renaissance, but whatsoever we do, we put the institution first. And EDUSANs were watching, and then who knows me knows that I am not into violence. To bring sanity, that's my primary responsibility. But thank God, the outgoing president also respects it, and then I have to thank him for that, for accepting that responsibility, and then to bring sanity in the School of Education. So we have to thank him for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And then you are the right person for the IPRO position, because we need the same energy and the same wisdom in the political and social bantaba and other social media. So congratulations for bringing peace on that day. Otherwise, it will go viral, that the candidates and the outgoing executives have been, below. I know that day the Fine TV will have a lot of viewers.
The electoral cycle.
It will definitely delay the elections automatically. It will delay it. Now, SG-elect, Honorable the King, I call him my king, before becoming the SG. So now let's talk about the policy debate. You are here with your opponents, and then you sell your policies and programs, and then the EDUSANs, they buy it. Right now they elect you because of what you present. So what do you have for them, and then what can they expect from you as the SG?
Yeah, I think that is a very challenging moment, and then it's very tough one. If thousands of students could watch what you have said on the policy debate, and then could have also watched how your 10-man committee, the Team Renaissance 10-man committee, were able to sell out your agenda, not only within Renaissance but outside, to reach a broader, how to call people within EDUSA, and then they believe that you are the right individual with the right policies that they believe. So these are policies that I believe are attainable, and then it also come with a lot of benefits that EDUSANs are going to gain from it, just like any other candidate. But as you said, being the administrative head, you serve as the embryo and the fundamental bedrock of the association. If anything happens to go right, then you are behind, or one of those people who scheme behind and hide under the scenes, and making sure that everything, partnerships, donors, within 7 months. That is what we promise, together with the president and whatsoever. We promise that we are going to stay in the council for 7 months, and we will do all our level best to make sure that we stay within the lane and then deliver our policies as well. So just like I said, it's just a matter of creating a comprehensive report plan for all the ministries as the administrative head, and EDUSANs be rest assured that with my responsibility and as outlined in the EDUSA Constitution as amended in 2022, Section 15, subsection 1 to 9, it is my sole responsibility to make sure that I commit all the ministries together with their committee members and their deputies to making sure that the timelines that are given out, to carry out their policies, it's something that is respected, and then it is going to be done within the 7 months, and then we are going to have one of the most anticipated events that the council always have, and that is the nationwide tour. It's very, very demanding, and it's very important as far as the association is concerned. It's one of their most anticipated events and one of the biggest. So in line with the president and of course the vice president, we all have already started reaching out to our partners, trying to review, just like I said, we are going to review and establish new memorandum of understandings, and then we have started that because knowing that we don't have time and then we can't wait until we wait for the official handing over, then we wanted to do all that is expected. It is going to give us a lot of time, so we have already started drafting out some of the courtesy calls that are expected from our existing partners that we have. So we are also bringing in new partnerships into EDUSA, and then these new partnerships, we are hoping that they are going to yield a huge dividends for education students, and then also throughout all the ministries, I can say, and then we are all asking them to submit out their policies, and then these policies would be put in a policy penandulum, which is going to be, they also give us a timeline with the resources that are all needed for these activities, and then we would scrutinize everything, and after scrutinizing it, we would synergize all the policies together and try to make sure that the policies that can be able to synchronize, together, we synchronize them, and then we have a bigger picture, a bigger policy that we can be able to do and then celebrate it successfully. So that is what we want, and that is what we promised.
Thank you.
So these and many more are on the way as far as the 16th Executive Council is concerned.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, as you mentioned about 7 months in office, and then we all know the Constitution give you 1 academic year.
Yes.
So the viewers, especially the EDUSANs, some of them may not understand why you want to spend 7 months in office. Can you explain that further?
Yeah, I think it was one of the campaign tools that we were selling out to education students, because normally the 15th Executive Council, that is your council, like you have to spend 12 months in council, but then that has gone over the constitutional mandates, and we are now into the 17 going to the 18th month. So that means we are running, we already elapses the time frame. So for us to restore back as a policy being synergized by the president to making sure that we restore back the electoral cycle, we want to make sure that this coming semester we bring back the electoral cycle so that it will not miss EDUSANs, because if we are to also stick on our constitutional rights, it is our constitutional mandate as per EDUSA Constitution 2022. We can still say we said that and we promised we are going to stay for 7 months, but we are going for 12 months. But then we don't want to do that. Yeah. We want to make sure that we stick to our promises, that we want to restore back the electoral cycle, so that within 7 months we can synergize all policies, put all policies in one go, and then have them accomplished one after the other. Right. Then have the nationwide tour. Then we can have a very successful handing over, and then it will be short but also impactful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now the Continental IPRO. Now, let's talk about the election and the election results. Yeah. When the EC close the pool, I don't know where exactly you were at the time. Can you tell us?
Yeah, we all know election is always hard, and more especially when votes are cast, and then you'll be expecting 2 things: is either you get it or you will lose it.
Yes.
But we all know how the results were unfolded. Mm-hmm. The polling station 1 arrived whilst I was at the bottom, and then things were working well. Yeah, but
so when the first results was released, and then you saw it, what come to your mind at that moment in time,
Yeah, for me, I believe in one thing: you did not lose until the final results are out. Yeah. I was anticipating that things will be positive, but when the first results came, then I was skeptical. But I believe that with the teamwork that I have done with my team members, I believe things will be positive. Yeah, I have no doubt about that. You will come victorious. Looking at how we plan our campaign and how we reach to EDUSANs and the policies that we put in place, and convention also play a very vital role, because it also at least increase at least 50% to win the hearts of electorates, and which went well with me and to my fellow candidates as well. Yeah, it was a tough one.
Definitely. That bring me to the convention. The convention is one of the biggest platform that was given to the candidates to talk to the electoral, that is the EDUSANs, to vote for you, and then it turned out to become the positive way. So what method do you use until you people get 11-11?
Yeah, I think one, we have to start with the Renaissance 10-man committee by scrutinizing the right candidate for EDUSANS, and also what type of team do we build to give to EDUSANS, because the self-branding and the branding of candidate matters. And I believe the candidate that, the 10-man committee have presented to EDUSANS, subscribes to their policies. So convention also, if we look at the presentation, you understand that all candidates did well, but I believe our candidate also give what the EDUSANS are expecting. Because we know policy debates, one has to be conscious, one has to be with that maturity to be able to give that substance to EDUSANS. And I believe when you give that substance to EDUSANS, they will subscribe it. So fortunately, that happens to be our case. We sell our policies to them, and then with maturity and comfort, with confidence as well, and they end up subscribing to our policies. So now the bigger picture is now there. Because winning is one, but the expectations also are high, and which we will deal with in a discussion further.
Thank you. Yes, SG, to you, the expectation was very high, especially after manifesting that powerful policy debate between you and Suleiman.
Yes.
And then when the EC, IPRO call you people to come and deliver to the thousands of the EDUSANS that are in the hall and other university students, how it felt like, now this is my last shot. If I miss it, that is it. So can you tell us about the convention?
Yes, the convention was a very hectic day, despite looking at the settings, who come first, second, and third. You will find out that those that are in the upper cadre, they are always last. That's the president, the vice president, and the secretary general. So I came like 2 people after. So it was something that is it was challenging though, but we were ready and then all out for it. So when I study all those what was happening, and then what methods were they using, and then I have to adapt to the method that they are using at that moment, because we were prepared for all. So that is why the first word that came out of my mouth, when I was before the podium, was like, shouting does not make you right. It is what comes out of you make a homo sapien a wise man. So I believe with this first statement, it was with substance, just like I always say, it was with substance, and then our candidates were there, solely to sell out their policies. This is what makes us more different. We were there solely to sell out our policies, and then those that were there, a lot of them were undecided voters. There are a lot of new faces that I saw on that particular day, and then I was reaching out to all the faces and then looking, and I knew what exactly was happening. There are people that are there purposely to look at, those that are undecided, and then they wanted to know what you have for them, and that is what exactly, we delivered, to EDUSANS.
Yes, SG, I can fully remember you attend so many convention and also the Congress, and then you are one of the participants or EDUSANS that normally ask tough questions. So when on the podium,
yes,
are you expecting the same questions from the EDUSANS or?
Honestly, I was just like I said, I was prepared for everything. From the opponent side, from those undecided, those who watch the policy debates, and then probably would be there, to make some clarifications, to make some adjustments that they wanted to know. So we are prepared for all those stuffs. As for me, it's very true. Both in Congress, in conventions that I have attended, I make sure that I hold my leaders accountable. So I was prepared for all those stuffs. But unfortunately, I was expecting, let's say, a lot of questions from my opponent, but then it went, ironically, that did not happen. So the only question that he asked me was out of all conventional rules. So that was never related to the policies. That was never related to what is happening in EDUSA. It was never related to anything for the betterment of the school. It was just, trying to relate that as a character assassination, and then something that I did not even expect. So from nowhere. So when he asked that question, I was like, what is he talking about? I know nothing about what you are saying. And if anything that you people are sharing out, and those are manipulative AI documents, I know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And then I could see a lot of people, believing and then cheering that, we know them for this thing, AI manipulation whatsoever. I was never expecting for that.
It was definitely tense during the day of the convention. Now all things are done, election is done, everything is done. Now you achieve your goal, you become the 16 Executive Council Secretary General, and your camp also made history for the first time in the history of EDUSA to win 11 all the positions. So now, what next? What next?
Yeah.
You look for what from the EDUSANs, they give it to you now. So now you tell EDUSANs, what next? What can they expect from the council now?
Yeah, thank you. Just like Jibril said, the 10-man committee, we have to thank them. And then those that, scout the candidates, they did well. And then just on the campaign period, just like I always said in the class, that these 11 men that you see, these are men with caliber, fiber, timber, and the alacrity. And then people really believe with the policies that we presented. So what Edison's could expect from these people is nothing but to deliver those policies that they make them to believe that are the right programs that could uplift, are the right programs that could hold them accountable, are the right programs that could adjust to the needs that EDUSA wants at this point in time. Because just like the president would always say, EDUSA is at a crossroad, and then that is the hard fact. Wherever you go within the student community, everybody see us that way. That keep education, always problem, and all those stuff. So it becomes a phenomenon, and this one just started recently. And for those that are keen followers in politics, they will definitely know. So our top priority is to make sure that we unite EDUSANs. Without unity, we cannot do anything. So we must come together as brothers and sisters. Elections is over, politics is over. What is now up is job, and then legal. That is the only thing up now. So we need to put those things aside. I feel like I can work with you. I have to call you. Yeah, come, let us do this. We are not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for SSC. I'm not doing it for Renaissance. We are doing it for the sake of our school.
Yes.
And then together we can be able to do it. I have a lot of friends that are from SSC, and then the same thing, vice versa. So it is just politics. We are all struggling for the same thing, but that is up now. So Renaissance education students are assured that the 16th Executive Council, it's here to work, not to sideline anyone, and also not to do a politics of nepotism or whatsoever. All what we will do is to make sure that we can unite EDUSANs, become one family, that all the EDUSANs and then people know of about the association. That's our main objective. And if we are able to achieve this, I think there is no other reason, there is no other policy, there is no other thing that we cannot do, because in unity we can do anything.
Everything is possible when you are united. Now to the continental IPRO. You are going to inherit one of the most active, most talk about political bantaba in the University of the Gambia. Everybody want to be in that bantaba. Everybody, whether you are part of School of Education or not, everybody want to be there, because I know I'm the custodians. I know how many messages I receive in my WhatsApp. Can you please add me or send me the link of political bantaba, especially during the time of election. And SU election also is coming. I can tell you for free, almost all of their candidates are in the bantaba. So now, if you inherit this in next week's time, what plans do you have for the people of Bantaba, and how are you going to control there? Because a lot of things happen in that college.
Thank you, my boss, Prof. I think this is one of the biggest challenge the School of Education is facing, looking at the conversation that normally occurred in the political Bantaba and social Bantaba. I was added in the political Bantaba and the social Bantaba, but I have no comments in issues related to politics. I do follow keenly how the messages are unfolding. That gives me a better chance to understand what is there and what mechanism am I going to put in place to bring sanity. We all know politics comes and go, but if we all have to align with the rules and regulation of the institution, election is over. Anything that is going to be discussed in the political bantaba should be unification, progress of the school. So that platform, and how you finish your program, you are there, it is your entitlement, because we believe that, I personally believe that those that finish their program, they might come back for their masters. And we also need their expertise as graduates and our bosses in the midst. But what is important here is, what message do you send to your genius? What advice do you put to them? So political bandaba is not a place where people should castigate, SKU words that sometimes even primary school students would not use in their platform. So I believed we are all matured enough and being the custodian of that platform in weeks to come. I will make sure I come with policies, programs that will guide the operation of that bantaba. If you have your individual issues, you go to your personal time, you skin your words, but that platform is for EDUSA. It has to be respected. So I'm not going to say much. Let's wait until we take into the council that one will come. And let EDUSA be assured there will be sanity in EDUSA, because we are all matured and then we are all ready to unify. And then, even our opponent camp SSC, they are ready to unify. And then we have seen that broader picture in them. We all come together as one family and represent the school and then brand the school, so that we left a footprint, a positive footprint, that even we left, generation will talk about it. It's not what you do, but the legacy that you left out. So that legacy has to be positive, because our children also will come and find that legacy. So I am optimistic with the maturity that is there, with the EDUSANs that trust us to be able to take that responsibility. It's not an easy task. Winning 11, we have no excuse to blame, because there is no opposition in our midst. So we have to fulfill the promise that we give to EDUSANs, and be rest assured, with the team and with the commitment in the School of Education, from the dean down to the cleaner, we're going to work as a team to make sure School of Education become one of the sub-association that other sub-association will learn from. And
thank you. That brings us to the end. Now, your final words to the EDUSANs, especially those that vote for you. And remember, it's not only one camp that voted you in. Sure. And then whoever win, this one is to all the candidates, and even those from the SSC. Not only all the votes that you have is not from one camp. It's the mixture of the EDUSANs. Because I personally make my findings after the elections. I interview some people. Some of them, they are open to me. They tell me that I don't vote based on camp, but I vote based on the individual and the competence of that person. So therefore, you cannot pick up or you beat your chest that it's my camp that make me the winner. No, it's all the EDUSANs. So one final words in 1 minute for the EDUSANs.
Yeah, I think we have to congratulate all EDUSANs and even our opponent camp, because they make us to be, given that opportunity to be able to challenge the electoral process, and then thank God, EDUSANs have decided. I will give that assurance to EDUSANs that you vote us in not because we are a Renaissance. You vote us in because you believe in our policies and you believe we can represent you in office. And we're giving you that assurance with all the 11 candidates that you entrust the office to. We work as a team, and even our opponent camp, we also work together. And the electorate with other sub-bodies, we all come together to make sure we bring the glory that EDUSA deserves. And then I'm urging all EDUSANs, let's park politics aside now. Let's see the broader picture, that's the interest of the school, and to unite and work as a team to make sure all those pending promises, we revitalize it. And other programs that were pending, we revitalize it for the benefit of the school, because the branding of the school lies in our hand as the information ministry. So we do our utmost best to make sure we send publications and then to celebrate our students' achievement, not for School of Education, but the country at large. We have potential, and then we're able to celebrate those potential. So I'll use that opportunity to thank all of you, and then we're also going to do our utmost best to serve the interests of EDUSANs. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now to the Honorable SG, before your final word, you can do both together, okay, because we are running out of time. You are the most important person in the 16th Executive Council, the engine of the 16th Executive Council, and the brain of the 16th Executive Council. And also, you will be the one to interpret the constitution for the ministers, although there are other bodies that can be called whenever there is misunderstanding. And then your success lies in your hand. as a SG. You have a big task ahead of you. And then what can you assure the EDUSANS and also your final words for the EDUSANS? Because I know the EDUSANS trust you, that's why they voted you in, and you have a biggest tax on your shoulder. Because I'm in a council, I know the role of the Secretary General.
Yeah, first and foremost, just like I always say, I got like 318 and I just have only one vote. So which means the remaining 317 people, uh, they genuinely believe that with the qualities that I have, I am the right individual for this particular position. And then as a Secretary General, you know, is something that is not easy. You don't just serve as an administrative head, but you serve as a mediator. You know, you control dialogues, you chair meetings, you save highly classified records of not just only the council but of the entire students, which is very confidential. You know, holding classified documents of all the EDUSANS, it's something that is a bigger tax. And then also with the responsibility of the constitution, sometimes it happens, and when we are working together, just like the saying would always go, even the tongue and the teeth, they sometimes, cross, each other's paths, and then all those things would happen. But it is the sole responsibility of the Secretary General to make sure that he or she stays neutral and make sure to control the situation. It's just like a midfield eight in a football game. You have to be always there to stay neutral, control, the balance of the team. It's not always not going to be easy, but then high hopes are there and the beliefs are always in, and then the rest make additions believe, and then let you be assured that I am going to be here not to serve an entity, not to serve a particular camp or to my individual self, but I am here for EDUSANS because it is the EDUSANS that gives me the trust and that is bestowed upon me. So I would definitely do my quota to making sure that this is something that I will do to the best of my knowledge and to the experience that I have, and then also relying on the existing secretary generals that have served with emeritus status, and then would yield a dividends to the betterment of the association. As an individual, you cannot do it alone. Sometimes you have to seek understandings, you have to seek experience, you have to seek advices. They are all part of the job, and then we are calling on all EDUSANS. Let us come together, and then you guys have made the defining moments, and the defining moments is already here. You believe that these 11 individuals, and I know a lot of people vote, they don't just vote because they are entitled or they are belong to a particular entity. If that is the case, then the election results would have not been this. But I know a lot of people voted based on competence, a lot of people voted based on the quality, and then that quality favors our camp, and then our candidates as well. Now ministers, we are assuring you that we are up to the task and we are ready, on behalf of the president, on behalf of the vice president, and of course the members of the 16 executive council, especially ministers. We are saying a very big thank you. We cannot really return back the gratitude, but we can say we are happy, and then we will make sure that we work tirelessly within these 7 months to making sure that we deliver all our policies to expectations. And then we are also praying and hoping to God that who gives us this victory would be by our side, guide us all along until the end of the 7 months, and then that is, I would draw the curtains here until then. And thank you so very much, Fine TV. This may not be our last meeting here. Probably we'll be here again, but also on other stuffs. But until then, we would like to send this special gratitude for always being there for us selflessly, out of all circumstances. They'll be there, no need for finance or whatsoever. For those who know, we really understand. So your efforts to strengthen our voices and understanding for those who are not keenly on the political bantabas, we really appreciate it, and we would definitely brought memorandum of understandings between the 16th Executive Council and of course Fine TV, because it was very helpful. A lot of people watched through this, and then they were able to really definitely understand and then distinguish the chaff from the greens, and then that resulted into a massive turnout. and then of the result. So we are very thankful to Fine TV, and of course to our able host, Prof. Fati, throughout all the policy debates being here, of course, as a minister for the 15th Executive Council is always not easy, whatever. But then at the end, we are out of it, and then thank God, for also serving your role with, full respect, and of course, with constitutional mandate as well. So just to draw the curtains here, I thank each and every one of you viewing us live from Fine TV. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Secretary General-elect Honorable Tumani Kamara, for that. And then that will bring us the end of the EDUSA Hour program. I am your host, Sheikh Omar Fati, the outgoing Information and Communication Minister, 15th Executive Council. So I would like to take this opportunity also to invite all of you to our award night and handing over ceremony. The dates and the time will be communicated to you through our official channels and WhatsApp group. So as you all are aware, the time of the 15th Executive Council is about to end, and the new era, that is the 16th Executive Council, that one they break the record, that is 1111, and they are coming to be the first council that doesn't have any opposition. So they have no reason to fail the education. So now I pray from the bottom of my heart for them to succeed and bring the success that all the educans are looking for. Until we meet again, bye for that time. Thank you, and thank you, Fine TV. Don't forget, subscribe and then also follow the Fine TV on all the social media. Thank you.